Hello, so I wanted to finish my video of the Pisces man dark-sided because yesterday I tried to film a video and it was like 10 minutes long, but there was so much good information on there and the audio was off. I do have in a relationship with the Pisces man, and it says more of the dark side of the Pisces man up on my channel. It's like a 20 or 30 minute video of Pisces man in a relationship, but it's more towards the dark side of Pisces man in a relationship. But this is just going to be a 10-minute video, just if you're getting into a relationship with one, or you're already in a relationship with one, or you have a crush on a Pisces man. So that's my thought. 10 minutes of information on the dark-sided Pisces man, the dark side. So the dark-sided Pisces man, first of all, he's really emotional. He's really emotional, moody, emotional. He's ruled by Pisces, which is a water sign. So water, it means emotions in astrology, and the ocean. So picture the ocean, like it's a lot of water, a lot of emotion in this man. So he could be super moody, super emotional, just like the Cancer, So moody, emotional. They could be kind of like female, like they could kind of act like a female, be very moody and emotional like a female would. I'm gonna finish this video when I get home, that way I could think more better. Okay, hold on. So the dark-sided Pisces man, he could be moody and emotional, and he could kind of act like a female because they're a double feminine sign. So he could kind of act like a female, where he's emotional and moody like a female, and be really like sweet and calm, but very moody, very emotional and sensitive. So if you're his wife or his kid or his family member or friend, you could say the tiniest thing or do the tiniest thing, and he will get into deep emotions about it. He could get very angry, very upset, very sad, very crybaby-ish, very emotional, very traumatic. He could get very chaotic and get very angry with you, and he could have anger issues. So because of his sensitivity and his anger issues, as his wife, child, friend, or family member, you could do the smallest of things. And this sign, you have to be careful because they're prone to snapping on people. So he could be very calm and sweet, but you say or do the tiniest thing, because he's highly sensitive, he could snap on you. And when they snap, they have anger issues. So you could do the tiniest thing and they'll snap, and they will get very enraged and in anger. And this is where the Pisces man could get very violent with his wife, children. It doesn't matter if you're a woman, and it doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, or a child. He could snap at the tiniest of things and get very angry and violent and abusive. So he could put his hands on you or throw things at you, create a scene. He's also the sign of escapism, so he will go in the room, lock himself in the room, and wallow and sob, be crybaby-ish, like you did something to him. But you could have said something or did something that was so tiny, and he will do this. He could leave the house altogether, and with family members and his friends, he will play the victim, just like this sign of Cancer. So he has a victim mentality. So you could have did the tiniest of things to him, and he will go complain to his family and friends and be kind of crybaby-ish and say that it's your fault. He's the victim. Even if he snapped over the tiniest thing, put his hands on you, hurt you, physically hurted you, assaulted you, and did a bunch of stuff, he will still go to his family members and friends and say that he is the victim. And that's the way he feels. As a husband, he could completely abandon his wife and children because of his sensitivity and his anger issues. He's also the sign of imprisonment. He's also the sign of imprisonment. So he could be in and out of prison, in and out of jail, and mainly due to his anger issues, mainly due to his violence. They're immutable signs. So you have to be careful with mutable signs because they could be very calm and sensitive and even feminine. Like, he could be feminine and calm and sweet and even come off as a pushover, but you have to be careful because mutable signs, it's kind of like a forest fire in California. The way the fire goes through all the forests, and it's like it's just going everywhere. You know, the wind's taking the fire everywhere. That's like a mutable sign's nature. They're mutable. So when they get angry, when they get sad, they cry. When they're calm, they go with the flowish. But when they're angry, there's no telling how the waves of anger will go, like the ocean. And Pisces is a sign of the ocean. So when they're angry, there's no telling where their anger is going to take them, how violent they're going to get, what they're going to do, what they're going to throw at you. They could be really good at boxing. So picture like a hurricane in the ocean, a hurricane. If you go and look at a video of a hurricane, the winds are blowing. It's just like, chaotic and crazy. That's how his anger could get. And so he could be really good at fighting. Mutable signs are good at acting, fighting, because they're changeable and mutable. So I think Floyd Mayweather is a Pisces. One of the famous boxers, I'll have to put it in the description box below, is a Pisces. Krishan Rock is a Pisces, even though she's female. She's a good example of, if anybody says anything to her, like some people pick and choose their battles and they'll be like, no, like it's something small. If she did something major or did this, then yeah, I'll put my hands on her. But if it's something small, but with Krishan Rock, it's like any tiny little thing somebody says to her, confronts her, she does pop off and she goes from 0 to 100 real quick, where she's calm and all of a sudden they say one thing and boom, she just starts boxing them and assaulting them. And she's really good at fighting. A lot of the times they don't care about assaulting people. They don't care about the consequences. They don't care about the charges. Pisces is also an irresponsible sign, and they're a mutable sign, so they don't care about rules, timing. They could be late a lot. They don't really good responsibility. So with their violent and their anger issues, you have to be careful. So if you let this man live with you as a woman, if that's your boyfriend or a roommate, you have to be careful if he's a dark-sided Pisces with his violent nature. And a lot of times they're irresponsible with it, so they could pop off on you and really be irresponsible and not care how they hurt you. These are the type of domestic violence men that could possibly kill you. And it could be over something so small. You could have did something so small or said the smallest of things. So be careful with this man. He's very jealous. Even when you talk to other people, he's very jealous if you just talk to them. So I could only imagine if you actually cheat on this man. Like I said, protect yourself and be careful with his violent nature. A good example of this is I know somebody, basically he was a Pisces man. They're also very spoiled and entitled and lazy. Spoiled, entitled, and lazy. And they're feminine. So if he's a husband, he could abandon his wife and children. He may not take on that provider role and completely abandon his family and children due to his sensitiveness, his victim mentality, his laziness, his selfishness, a very selfish as well, his selfishness, self-centeredness, spoiled and victim mentality, sensitive, entitlement. He could completely abandon his wife and children due to all of that. He could be a mama's boy. So these are the type of men who are sensitive, crybabyish, spoiled, lazy, feminine. They feel entitled. They get mad over the smallest of things, and he will abandon his wife and children because of that. And he could be a mama's boy, so he could go live with his mom until his mother eventually passes. And then once he lives with other family members, he will act spoiled and entitled with them. And a lot of family members won't put up with that. So if the Pisces man does not find something creative to do or hold down a 9 to 5 job, which is kind of hard for them to do, they could end up homeless. And a lot of family members won't take them in because of their spoiledness and their entitlement and their anger issues and their sensitiveness. They could be big time moochers, so they're not really providing. They will live in your house and use your toothbrush, your toothpaste, use your shampoo and conditioner, mooch off of family members, and they're kind of like innocent and childlike. So sometimes they're not doing it on purpose to take advantage. They're just very selfish and naive and childlike and self-centered and spoiled and entitled, that they don't believe they're doing anything wrong. And if you tell him about it, he may be okay with it. Like if you tell him in a nice way, like, hey, buy your own stuff, he could be okay with it and be a really calm man, or he could flip out and, like I said, they could get violent. So watch out, especially if you try to kick him out. Do it in a nice way, but they could get, if you're like a roommate or family member and the Pisces man is living with you and you try to kick him out, do it in a nice way. If you do it in a mean way, he's very spoiled and entitled. I don't know why he's this way. I don't know why, but he's very childlike and naive in nature and spoiled and entitled and lazy. So he probably doesn't have a 9 to 5, mainly like side jobs and like, maybe sometimes not even that. But yeah, if you kick him out in a mean way, he will go into an angry tirade. He could put his hands on you. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, if you're a family member, friend, a woman, his wife, a child, they could box you and put their hands on you. So be careful. They're also the sign of drug addiction, so they could take drugs, be a pothead, or get drunk a lot. I find mainly Pisces, it's like drugs or they're potheads. They're the opposite sign of Virgo. I find that Virgos are mainly like drugs or potheads too, because they tend to suffer with anxiety. Pisces man can suffer from anxiety, so they'll be like potheads, like weed or like drugs. All the way over there. Okay, I'll go get her right now. Okay. Okay, because Mama said. Yeah, so they could be escapism. So when they escape, they could abandon their wife and children and leave the house and escape to like their mom's house or lock themselves in a room or just abandon you, So be careful when you're going out with a Pisces man and you get pregnant. They will do that, like disappear, and they won't be a providing type. But with the whole drug addict thing, they're the sign of addiction, so they can be drug addicts, potheads, and alcoholism. So that will make it even worse, right? It will make everything really worse. They're ruled by Neptune, which is the planet of delusion, so they could be illusional, just like the Cancer, where like you could say the tiniest of stuff or do something really small, and they could get moody, emotional, and violent, but in a way where you think this man is like delusional. Like you'll be like, what are you mad about? What are you like acting crazy about? Like you'll think this man is delusional, for like getting mad at the tiniest of things, or emotional at the tiniest things. You'll be like, it's like, oh, are you delusional, or are you making stuff up, or like, And sometimes he could do that. He could tend to daydream and like can be delusional. Especially if he's on drugs or drinking, so be careful with that. Okay, so a good example of this is I know a Pisces man. So I think I mentioned that if you try to kick him out of your house, he'll get really violent with you and physical, and to be careful. So it was a family member, so a Pisces man. He lived with his sister, and he had a room, but he stopped paying the sister rent. He did it. He refused to pay her rent. He refused to pay his brother rent, so the brother kicked him out. And then when he lived with the sister, he also refused to pay his sister rent. So the sister still kept him there. So, but he refused to pay her rent. But her son was coming home, so she was like, "My son's coming home. I need the room. Can you move your stuff to the garage and you put a bed in the garage? And my son is gonna come home." So he was not paying rent for a couple of months, and he got really mad, and he got violent with the sister. He did not want to move his stuff out of the room and into the garage for her son, and he wasn't even paying rent, but he got very mad and violent. So she had 4 sons. So this man was like in his 60s, but 50s, 40, I think 50 or 60s, but he was still in good health, and he was still like good, like muscle wise and everything. And she had like 5 sons, like in their 20s or 30s. And they lived next door because one of the brothers had a house next door. So she goes, "I'm going to call my sons over here." And he goes, "Well, call them over here. You're just going to get them like effed up." And she goes, "Okay." So the sons come. He starts getting extremely violent. And one of the sons even has to bring a gun. And so he got in like an angry tirade, and he climbed on top of the roof of the house and started screaming at the top of his lungs. And I guess there was a hole in the roof, so he fell. I know it sounds very funny, but he fell in the hole, but he just exploded. Like they had to bring a gun, but he still exploded. And she called the police, and the police came, and he got charged. He got charged with that. So that was his own sister. So she put a restraining order on him. Now she's like, no, he's not allowed here at all. She put a restraining order on him. And her sons, like they had to bring a gun. But when the police came, like they got him and so he ended up going to jail for a long time because he was already on probation for not obeying the law. So he was on probation for something really small. He didn't want to do something really small for the law. I think he had to register. He had to do something really small, like put himself on calendar for court, but he refused to do that. So he was on probation already, so he got some time for what he did to his sister. And so these men could be irresponsible with their anger, irresponsible with their charges, and irresponsible with the law and not take care of their charges. So they could do some serious jail time and prison time due to their anger and their irresponsibilityness with the law. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna finish it. They are the sign of the fish, so their opposite sign is a Virgo. So they could have problems with like doing worldly things, like going to sleep early, waking up early, waking up early, holding a 9-to-5 job, their credit, putting themselves on calendar to go to court, or like their charges, taking care of their charges or legal stuff. They could have problem with worldly things or responsibility. They are the opposite sign of Virgo. So also the Pisces man can be big time cheaters. So they could be big time cheaters. I think Tristan Thompson is a Pisces, and he was with Khloe Kardashian. Let me see. He cheated on her multiple times. He cheated on her multiple times with multiple women. I think a couple of days before she gave labor, he had a girl in a hotel room and there was paparazzi pictures. So a lot of the times these Pisces men could be irresponsible with their cheating ways. They could cheat on you with the neighbor, with someone in your neighborhood. They're a mutable sign, so they don't really like go by the rules. So they could be like Sagittarius, where they're a little loose with their morals. They could cheat on you with your sister, family member. They could cheat on you with your sister, family member, like be loose with their morals, cousin, friend. They could be very secretive. Pisces is a secretive sign, so they could be very secretive. They're also very smart and intelligent men. So these are the type that if they're a narcissist, they're very smart and intelligent with it, and they could be highly manipulative and really good at lying and really good at manipulating and really good at lying, stealing, being a con artist, thief. They could be really good at just like manipulating and like lying, and like they're intelligent like that. They're the opposite sign of Virgo, so they have a lot of the same traits as the Virgo man, but very different traits because they're opposite signs, but still the same, kind of have the same traits. So they could be very intelligent with their lying and their con artists. Just be like manipulative men. Okay, sorry you guys, my sister came over and I wanted to like go back and forth from finishing the video. But these are the type of men who will have a baby on you. I think Tristan Thompson had 2 babies while he was in a relationship with Khloe Kardashian. So these are the type of men who will get another woman pregnant outside of the relationship by you. They could be man hoes. So just like the Virgo man, they could be man hoes. I think Kobe Bryant was a Virgo, and you could research him, how he, had affairs on his wife. Pisces men could have multiple affairs on their wife and girlfriend. They could be a man hoe, very promiscuous. And they are the type where they could have a baby outside the relationship, get pregnant on you. And they're the type that could live a double life, so have a family on one side of town, and on the other side of town they'll have another family. Because they're a mutable sign, so they get bored easily. They're not good with like rules, Also, keep in mind that I'm talking about the dark-sided Pisces man. Okay, so I'm not talking about the light-sided Pisces man, but sometimes on your bad days you can portray some of these traits, and you are capable of some of these traits. I think there's a reality show I used to watch. I think her name was Jessie James Decker. She was a country singer, and she had an NFL player as a husband. They had a reality show. And he was a Pisces man. He was like a sweet husband. So, talking about the dark side of Pisces man, okay? But yeah. I was gonna say something. Okay, hold on. So, also with the whole cheating, they could be prone to giving you STDs or sexually transmitted diseases. They are highly irresponsible. Also with the whole escapism, like them like having the ability to completely abandon their wife and children. My dad was a Pisces, and yeah, he would come around. Like, I met him when I was 7, and then he went back in prison, and then I met him again. But when he would come around, he wouldn't really provide. He's never given me like large sum of money, like $300, like to buy school clothes, like none of that. So he's never provided, and he kind of abandoned, and then he would get really sensitive and get pissed off and leave and live with his mom. And he would work, but he never provided for me as a child. And then he basically like completely like abandoned. And his first wife, he had 3 kids with his first wife. He abandoned them as well. So the wife said that she had to work, and the kids ended up going to like CPS, and some of them live with the mom's grandma, but they say that he never provided for them. The mom had to work. The mom had to go and get money and provide because he had taken off. And so they're not like really good providers, and they do have that ability to just abandon their children and family. And they don't really feel, my hand got tired, sorry you guys. They don't really feel guilty for it because, sorry, there's like a loud radio. They don't really feel guilty for what they do because they're highly selfish, self-centered, and spoiled men. So they don't feel guilty for it. You know, they won't apologize. They'll say sorry. They're good with emotions and playing the victim, so they'll get emotional, say sorry, but they're really selfish and spoiled, so they do have that tendency to abandon their wife, children, and family. And be like, they could be in and out of jail or irresponsible with their crimes and not taking care of their charges. Okay. Also, these men have an obsession with younger women. So if you're friends with a Pisces man, I wouldn't trust them. Like if you're another man, he is the type that will go out with your wife, your girlfriend, or your ex. Or even if you're a grown man and you're friends with a Pisces man, let's say you guys are in your 40s and your daughter is like 18, he is the type where if he's 40 or 50 and you're his best friend as a guy, you're his guy best friend, but he does have that ability to, sorry, my hand gets so tired. Yeah, if you're best friends with this guy, and you have like the car, I swear. Hold on. So you're a man and you're best friends with a Pisces man. He has that ability he has an obsession with younger women. So I wouldn't really trust him around your daughter or nieces. He does have that ability if he is 40 or 50 to go out with 18-year-olds and younger women. He kind of has an obsession. Hold on. Yeah, he does have an obsession with younger women, so he will be the type to go out with your daughter or niece who's like 18. And if you are dating this man or getting to know this man, he may be the type. So these men could have an obsession with younger women. Please excuse me if this video is like all over the place or choppy because I did have my kids out here. So hold on. Due to his obsession with younger women, he may have like harassed younger women or have violent relationships with them, and he may have to register for the sex offender list. So if you're dating him or have a crush on him or he's about to move in, I would definitely check the sex offender list because this man does have an obsession with younger women. So let's say you and the children are in the living room. He could watch porn on his phone while the children are present in the living room. Just watch porn at inappropriate times or masturbate at inappropriate places and times. These men are really intelligent, but they could have naive behavior and say naive things, so you need to be careful with him. They could fall in love easy and be too emotional and too clingy, especially when you're sleeping with them. They could overly like cuddle with you and be very clinging and suffocating, and they fall in love easily. The dark-sided Pisces man could also be very lustful and promiscuous. So if you let this man into your home, if you let him live with you, there's a possibility that he could sleep with your wife or your girlfriend. Okay, so I think this does it for my Dark Side of Pisces Man video. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. Please comment down below your negative experiences with the Pisces Man. And please hit that subscribe button for more little astrology updates if you like them. And okay, bye.